Hey everyone, welcome. It is Tuesday and you are in the kitchen cooking with Evey. So today's recipes, because we're going to have two of them, came about because I had a lot of fresh tomatillos in my garden. I have some jalapeños coming as well. And not only that, but the farmers market and grocery stores are full of fresh, ripe, sweet cherries. So originally I was trying to think, well, how could I combine all of these together? And that got a little bit difficult. So I had some lamb, which I know goes well with cherries. And I know it goes well with something else that's in my garden, mint. So I thought, let's see whether I can make a salsa verde that might taste good with lamb by adding in, instead of cilantro, adding in mint. And that's exactly what I did and came out wonderful. So today we're going to be making two different types of salsas. One is a salsa verde that I'm going to cook up, and the other is going to be a sweet cherry salsa with mint. So let's get started first with the salsa verde so I can start cooking that up. By the way, both of these recipes, highly anti-inflammatory. I'm always looking to add in and use fresh seasonal vegetables whenever possible, because that's the best way for us to eat healthy and avoid the inflammation that leads to chronic disease that comes with eating processed foods and high sugary foods as well. So back to our recipes, right? So what I want to start with then is I have about a pound of tomatillos here. Now, if you're not familiar with tomatillos, you may have seen them in the stores. They look something like this. They look almost like a small green tomato with a papery outer covering. So I grow these in my garden. So I'm getting a variety of different sizes and shapes and colors. But when they're all peeled down, some of them are green, some of them are yellow. But I thought I would show you exactly how to peel them, which is very easy, but also how to prepare them for when you're making a salsa. They're great in salsas. You can make this dish that I'm making, this salsa verde, instead of using the mint. Usually it's cilantro. So you could try using that as well. There we go. This one actually has a little purple blush on it. I was growing some purple tomatillos in my garden. Now, once you take these off, you're going to find that they're sticky. So you want to give them a rinse to rinse off that sticky layer that is around them. All right. I have about a pound of tomatillos here. And I'm going to just prep them. I'm going to do everything in my food processor. Makes it quick and easy. So I just want to cut these down to have them. These I might quarter, because the larger ones I might quarter, so that they blend up quick and easy, which is especially nice when you're doing a cooking show, right? Okay, as you can see, they're all different sizes and different varying colors, different shades. The yellow ones tend to be more ripe, or riper, I should say. They have a firm feel. There's lots of seeds inside too. Lots of very tiny, small seeds. Let's see if I can show you. Almost like an eggplant might have, where the seed is sandwiched between all the flesh. And you don't have to be very picky about the size of chopping these up, because, as I said, we're going to put them in the food processor and blend them up. When you get these in the stores, they might be bigger. I find they all have different flavors as well. All right. So I'm going to add this in. Let's see if I need my bigger, I'm going to use my larger container. I have a double-sized food processor here. That's the smaller size. We grab the larger blade to put in here. So 1 pound of tomatillos. Tomatillos have a very mild flavor, almost like a green tomato. I find they have a little bit of sweetness though, which adds a nice flavor to it all. Not quite as tart as a green tomato might be. And then I'm going to add in, you could add in a half onion. This is not a very large onion. I might add in the whole thing. This is just a yellow onion. You could use a white onion as well. You could even probably use a sweet onion. And I'm not chopping this up into very large sizes, as you can see, again, because it will be chopped up in the food processor. And as you can see, I'm saving my ends here because I like to save that. I will freeze those until I have enough to make a vegetable or a bone broth. I have my onion in now, and now I would like to get a little bit of heat in there. Depending on your preference for the level of heat that you like, you could use a whole jalapeno. You could use a serrano pepper. I happen to have this one from my garden. I know they are very spicy. So I take the seeds out, which makes them less, takes out some of the heat. I have a little left over from a recipe, my last recipe that I was making. So I'm going to use up that end as well. So I'm using about a half of about a medium jalapeno in this one. As I said, try it out that way. When you cook it too, it makes it a little bit milder as well. And I'm going to give this a rough chop. Chop it up a little bit more than I did the onion, only in that I like the jalapeno to be chopped up into small pieces so I don't get a big mouthful of heat all at once. Kind of blends into it. And I'm going to add in about 2 cloves worth of chopped garlic. And I have some pre-chopped garlic here that I am using. All right. Let me just give that a blend up. Here we go. I always seem to lose that lid. All righty. Here, I'll put this up here so you can see it better. And I blend this up now so that it has still a little bit of texture to it. Let me grab a spoon and you can see what it looks like. There you go. At this point, what I can do, what I should have done is heated up my oil in my saucepan. So I have a saucepan back here. All right. And I will add in a little bit of olive oil. I've added in about a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to let that heat up. And while it's doing that, I just want to clean up my work area here, my work surface, because that's pretty much it. Now, what I would like to do is add the mint in a little bit later on. I don't want to cook, because this is fresh mint, I'll add it in later on so that the mint flavor still comes through. I have from my garden several sprigs here. I am going to chop up 2 sprigs. And I would say, it's about 2 dozen leaves. They're not very big though. If you buy them in the store, the leaves will be bigger. But for now, I'm going to start with the 2 sprigs, and I'm chopping them up so I don't forget to add it in. Please remind me as we go along. Let me show you. Here's how we chop that up. And let me get a little, see if I have a little ramekin that I can put that into. Here we go. We have a little glass dish. I'm thinking this is about 2 tablespoons of chopped mint. All right. My oil should be heated up by now. I have it on high. So I'm going to now take my mixture. You can see there's a lot of liquid in this mixture. Let's see if you can see it here. There we go. That's probably a better way to do it. All right. I turn my heat down. All right. And now I'm just going to let this simmer for about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to let it come up to a boil again. Let's let that come up to a boil. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on and I'm just going to let it simmer. Then I'm going to take the lid off and burn off some of the liquid if it looks too soupy, which I'll show you. But what I would like to do is show you what the finished salsa looks like. Here we have it. So this salsa I cooked last night and refrigerated it. All right, you can see has a nice texture, a delicious flavor. I love to serve it with homemade seed crackers and talk with my mouth full. However, the whole idea of this was to serve it over some lamb chops. Here I have a grilled lamb chop. I put a little bit of rosemary on it, a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper. And what you can do is serve this alongside, or you know what? Maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait and see by the end of the show whether this one's ready to plate. If not, we'll use this. But let's go back now and take a look at our other dish. Let me grab a bowl. To put it in. All right, and this one to mix it up. So, as I said, cherries also in season. Cherries go very well with lamb, as does mint. So, I'm going to use about a pound of cherries. Now, I've pitted these, and I wanted to show you there's a couple of ways that you can do this. I'm going to turn down. I'm hearing this boiling, so let me just segue into this for a second. I gave it a stir, and I'm going to put it on low and let that simmer while I'm talking here. So I did most of my cherries. I left a few out because I wanted to show you how I pitted these earlier today. A couple of different things that you can do. One is if you take the cherry, pull the stem off. I just took a metal straw and I'll poke the bottom and the top of my cherry. I have a discard bowl here. And then from the top, just push my straw. And I don't know if you saw that, but the pit just popped right out. And there you have a pitted cherry. Let me try it again. Now, this works best when your cherries are ripe because they're soft enough to do that. Just popped right out. I'll do one more just to show you. Let's see. So there's the cherry. I'm going to hit to poke the bottom. And then from the top, I'm just going to push. And there's the pit coming right out. I don't know if you could see that, but the pit pops right out on the side. Now, if you don't have a metal straw or a straw, even a plastic straw will work for this. Another way to take the pit out of your cherries is just to take a knife, and you can see that there is a wider part of the cherry and a narrower. I am going to turn it so that the wider part is vertical, and I'm going to cut down on either side of the cherry like that so that I avoided the pit. So I'll have 2 cherry halves like that, almost halves. But I still have some meat around the pit. So I just cut around the pit like that. And we'll be using that meat. And then you discard the pit. Here's another one. Another way that you can do it is just kind of roll around the pit all the way around. Sometimes I cut off the meat from the top and the bottom of the pit, throw out that pit, and I do have a fairly large piece here. Now, we are going to be chopping the cherries anyway. So, that first part where you cut the halves works just fine. What I would like to do, let me see if I have my chopping board. Yes, I do. Okay. I have my cutting board here that I used yesterday for my cherries. Let me just rinse it a little bit more. The cherries tend to stain if you have a chopping block. So I like to do my chopping on a surface that I can put in the dishwasher. So remember, I had pitted these cherries. Now, what I want to do, I'm just going to slice them and put them into bite-sized pieces. I don't necessarily need to cube them. They can be like so. Or if you'd like smaller pieces, the best part about cooking for yourself is you can do things the way you like them. If you like smaller bites, like I was saying that I like the jalapeno, you can make them into smaller bites. They do tend to roll around though, so be careful when you're chopping. Watch those fingers. All right. And I just wanted to show you just, how easy it is to use this fresh produce. And, they're not cheap. Cherries are not cheap. They are delicious and they are good for us. They are high in phytonutrients that help fight inflammation, help us age better. I say it's the quality of life, not the length of your life, that determines how happy you're going to be. So we want to keep ourselves healthy for as long as possible. And the way to do that is to be looking for foods that use healthy, fresh, seasonal fruits and vegetables. They have the phytonutrients in them that help keep our cells regenerating, keeping them young, helping fight off toxins with the fiber that they contain. All good things. And not only that, but even though they're sweet and they have sugar in them, because they have the fiber, we don't absorb the sugar in the same way that we do with processed foods. And processed foods, as we know now, are the leading cause of many of the chronic illnesses that we're seeing. In fact, some would say it is the root cause for almost all disease. All right, here are beautiful chopped cherries. Ugh, yum, yum, yum. we would like to add now, oh, excuse me, some of that cracker. I'm going to now add in some onion. All right, and I'm going to add in some garlic. I also want to add in some peppers. So I could chop maybe about a half of a red pepper, but I have some of these little mini peppers. So I think I'm going to add those in and finish those up in my refrigerator. And that's the way I use up a lot of my vegetables that I have. I look to see what I have and then try and see how can I use them up? How can I use them before they go bad, right? I know it's hard to have cherries go bad because they're so good. One of the things I like to do to make sure that I use them up before they go bad is I wash them and I put them in a colander and I put them out on the center island here. And every time I pass by, it kind of triggers me to think about getting in some of those fresh phytonutrients. All right. I'm just getting rid of some of the seeds here in the peppers. So I just cut the tops off the peppers, if you saw, and then I cut them down lengthwise, right? And now I'm turning them sideways, and I'm just going to cut them into narrow slivers, almost mimicking the shape of the half cherry, right? The sliced half cherries that way. It's nice to keep shapes kind of consistent in a dish. And that will also add more color. And color is an indicator of the healthy phytonutrients that are present. All right, so I added my peppers. I'm going to add in the equivalent of about 2 garlic cloves, which for me is kind of a rounded teaspoon. So interesting combination, right? That garlic with the peppers. I mean, with the cherries. Okay, and I wanted to add in my onion. So in this case, I'm going to start off with half of an onion. So I have about a smallish onion, and I am going to dice it. Again, you could use a sweet onion for this. You could use a white onion. This just happens to be a yellow onion that I had in the house. Some onions tend to be stronger than others in flavor. If you're looking for the strongest onion flavor, that's the red onion. Let's see if I have mine. I don't have my scraper here, but I do have a spatula that will help me scoop this up into my salsa here. All right, so we're really building now. You can see we've got the sweet with the kind of tangy here. Now what we want to do is grab a lime. I have a nice big lime here. Actually has been in my refrigerator for a while. It's very ripe, juicy. So I am looking to use that up as well. And I need to see where I put my, there it is, my juicer. So I'm going to add in the juice of 1 lime. That was nice and juicy. I'm thinking I'm probably going to be getting 2 tablespoons out of this. Maybe even a little bit more. Love that. All right, so I haven't added in my jalapeno yet. I want to remove those seeds before I start chopping things. Oh, and always be careful. Do not wipe your eyes before washing your hands again if you're handling hot peppers, because that will sting. You do it once and you learn. So the way I like to do my jalapeno, my peppers, hot peppers, is I'm just going to slice them now, making very tiny slivers. like so. Matchstick type slivers. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and finely chop it. Just like I did for the Salsa Verde. All right. And we're going to scoop that up and put that into our mix. And I'm going to take a break right here just to check on my Salsa Verde to see how that's doing. Let's check that out. Let's put this up nicely. Let me show you what I got here. So it loses a little bit of its color. It turns a little more yellow. And it has released its juices. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to put it on a medium low, and I'm going to let it boil for a little bit. I'm going to add in my mint and a little bit of salt and pepper. I'll add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a few gratings of fresh black pepper. All right. And I'm not going to mix up that mint yet. I'm just going to let that boil down a little bit. So I just added in my onion. Let's add some salt and pepper to our cherry salsa too. And I know that I skipped over. I like to add some chia seeds. Chia seeds add a little bit more fiber to it, a little bit more omega-3 healthy fatty acids, a little bit of protein. Add in, probably about 1 to 2 teaspoons of that. And I'm also going to add in hemp. So hemp hearts, they are shelled. This also has a little bit of protein in it and also is rich in those omega-3 fatty acids. And I'm putting in about a tablespoon of those in there. They add a little bit of creaminess, like they're kind of a creamy crunch almost. And the chia seeds actually add help to thicken the juices that get released. So let me just add that in. And then finally, I want to add in about a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. All right, let me just go through them. What we did, we added our 2 garlic cloves. We added in 3 small peppers. I added in about a teaspoon of the balsamic vinegar, about a teaspoon and a half of the chia seeds, about a tablespoon of hemp seeds. I added the juice of 1 lime. Excuse me 1 second. It's amazing how Spam always knows to call me right in the middle of my cooking class. Anyway, sorry. The juice of 1 lime. I added in about a pound of cherries, a half of jalapeno without the seeds, about a half of our medium to small onion, white onion, salt and pepper. And now let's add in some mint. And I'm going to add in again about the same amount of mint that I added into our other dish, which was 2 sprigs of mint leaves. I don't like that leaf, so we're going to take that one out and we'll place it with another one. I love the flavor of mint in summer. And when you add mint to a sweet dish like this with the sweetness of the cherries and the peppers, it's such a nice combination. It really brings out that mint flavor even more. All right. scoop that in. Nice. Oh, so pretty. So we now have our salsa. Now, ideally, I would let this sit for, an hour or so in the refrigerator to let those flavors start to blend. Let the juices release a little bit. Let that chia seed swell up a little bit. I want to make sure those chia seeds are well mixed in there for that reason. Let me just move things out. Grab my rag here. Clean off my station a little bit so we can take a look at our finished creations. So in about the space of a half hour, I have made 2 different salsas. Now, this salsa will taste great with goat cheese over crackers. So will the Salsa Verde, if you'd like to do that, or you could use corn chips if you have the corn chips. I like to use homemade seed crackers because I don't eat corn. But let's take a look and see what's going on with our Salsa Verde, shall we? So as I said, I didn't mix up the mint yet. I'm going to do that now. Wonderful. Yum, 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 yum. And that's a little bit hot at this point. But let me show you the consistency. All right. It's still, I would like to have this boil down a little bit more. Let me see if I've added enough salt to it. Let me grab a spoon and we can taste it. And I like the way this looks now, the way it comes out. Yeah, very good. I think the salt and pepper are just fine. I might add a little bit of black pepper. Give that a mix. Now, because this is hot, maybe what I might do is plate it, but plate it on the side, more like a sauce at this point. So let's take a look at what we have. So as I said, I had grilled my lamb with a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, and chopped rosemary. And I'm just going to top it now with our fresh cherry salsa. Yeah. How fun is that? And for our second dish, I'm going to plate some of our Salsa Verde. And you know what? I might just kind of lay it on top a little bit more. Like so. All right. So here we have our 2 dishes. Which one are you going to try? I love them both together. We had this one last night. I didn't have anything to demo for you because we ate it all. It was that good. Anyway, we're up on our half hour here, so I just want to finish up. If you enjoy the dishes, please, by all means, visit my website, eveyschweig.com, where you will find dishes like these and others. Look under Cooking with Evey for dishes that were specific to my cooking show. And if you like videos and you like seeing cooking classes like this, please like and subscribe to me on Facebook, Evey Schweig on Facebook, or my YouTube channel here, Evey Schweig. Would love to see you in the future. If you have any comments, please let me know. Please share. Let me know if you make the dish. I'd love to hear how you enjoyed it. Did you do it with chips? Did you do it as an appetizer? Did you use it to top your protein choice? And what protein choice did you use? Another good question. All right. So until next week, please enjoy the recipes. Think about that anti-inflammatory factor about eating healthy whole foods and getting away from those processed foods and high sugary foods. If you have any questions about that, by all means, just contact me. I'm always happy to talk. Anyway, have a good time. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.